Thanks for sending in your essay. Let's dig right into it, shall we? So I can see that you've used more linking words, which is something that we talked about with your last essay. But I still think that perhaps you could spend a little more time with brainstorming and planning and coming up with ideas, because there doesn't seem to be that much content here. But let's take a closer look at as to how you could have done so. Okay, let's look at the introduction here. With the advent of smartphones, our lives have become easier. This is a great start. It's absolutely true. It's a good way to introduce the topic. It has revolutionized the way we communicate and access information. Again, very good. Then you go on with what looks like a thesis statement. And it's this one here. Let me mark that in. So, however, as with many technologies, there are some advantages and some disadvantages of having such a it should be life-saving device. Then you've got this next sentence here. Now, of course, remember the thesis statement ought to be the last sentence in your introduction paragraph. And this here, it contains thousands of unique inventions, keeps us all connected. You see, this is an advantage which should be in the advantage paragraph, not in the introduction paragraph. Okay, so I'm guessing you were thinking, I've only got 3 sentences here, my introduction looks very small. Okay, so here's something that you could have put in there, and that is what you've said here, that our lives have become easier, which is the now. Well, how about this? Write something about what it was like before smartphones. For example, many years ago, before smartphones, people had to go into the bank to do their banking. People had to go to the supermarket to do their shopping. Okay, however, this has changed and bring in different aspects of life that have been changed by smartphones. And then you've got so much a sort of fatter, healthier introduction paragraph. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is your introduction, so your advantages paragraph. Now, as I said, the sentence that came in your introduction could be somewhere in here. Okay, now you've begun with a connecting phrase, first of all. Okay, that's good. But you see, you've begun this paragraph with your first supporting idea and not with a topic sentence. Okay, remember, your body paragraphs should begin with a topic sentence. So something like, there are several advantages to having a smartphone. Okay. Okay, so just remember that here, okay, somewhere there, you should have a topic sentence. And then this, first of all, that's your first supporting idea. Okay, they enable us to access any information instantly anywhere. Okay, now your next sentence is lots of productivity tools can be downloaded. Well, those are 2 different points. Okay, one is getting information everywhere, the other one is having all these apps. So your first supporting idea should be developed. Okay, what kind of information? You know, why would we need this information anytime or anywhere? Okay, remember, you need to persuade the reader that what you're saying is absolutely true. And just saying, yeah, sure, you can get lots of information anywhere. As a reader, I think, so who cares? All right, so persuade me as to why that's correct, okay, and why it's so important. Okay, for example, you know, if you're a busy business person and you travel a lot, then it's important that you get access to your emails whenever you want, which is something that wasn't possible before smartphones. So give an example to show why that's so good. So lots of productivity tools. This is supporting statement number 2. So it should begin with second or secondly or second of all. Okay, and then give examples of these productivity tools. You're just saying there are lots of productivity tools, but with no explanation. Okay, and then you've got here, okay, in addition to traditional voice calls, if both speakers have smartphones, they can video call. Okay, great. So that's an important app. They allow speakers to see each other. Okay. A group of people can even have real-time conversations, but people can have real-time conversations with normal phones. So that there hasn't added extra to your point. Accordingly, meetings can be held online. Okay, which is good. Okay, I'll come on to the last bit in a minute. So you see, from the in addition point, which is, let me mark it, from here all the way down to the end, that's 1 point, and all you've said there is you can have video calls. Okay, but you said that very basic thing in 4 lines. Now, with 4 lines, you should be able to give a lot more information and a lot more proof. So, especially if you, at the time of speaking, with the COVID virus, okay, this is so important now that we can have online video conferencing. So, mention something like that. Okay, right. Let's move on. Okay, so we're moving on now to what I hope is the disadvantages paragraph. Let's have a look. However, smartphones always have some disadvantages. Okay, good start. Okay, you mentioned the advantages and you're saying, however, disadvantages, good. Although, remember, I think you should have had more advantages and more explanations in there. Okay. Then here, since they keep people connected all the time, people are always monitored. So I didn't understand this. People are always monitored. What do you mean by that? Monitored by the CIA? The NSA? MI6? What? That's unclear to me. And then here, therefore you are bound to work eternally, which means you have to work forever. Now, I don't know what you're trying to say here. Now, maybe I don't understand the second bit because I didn't understand the first. So this is a good example of why, if you explain your ideas more, then the reader, meaning me, I could understand better. So this is very unclear to me. Perhaps if you want, you can email me and try and explain in a different way this particular paragraph, and then I'll be able to give you a better answer, because as it is, as a reader, I've looked at that and I thought, I don't understand it. Well, it's probably wrong. Okay, and the idea of writing is to persuade the reader that you are right in everything you say. You have to persuade me. Okay, so move on now to the next bit. However, smartphones also have a number of disadvantages. Well, okay, so here, okay, let me go back. Okay, so you have here, however, disadvantages, and here again, however, disadvantages. So you've repeated the topic sentence. Remember, the topic sentence goes at the beginning of the paragraph, and this would be a disadvantage paragraph, which should be all together, not separate in 2. Okay, so that should be deleted. Such as constant distraction and waste of time. Okay, right. When you write something like this after, or sorry, at the end of your topic sentence, you have to be careful, because if you're saying there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying, okay, there are many disadvantages such as A, B, C, and D, and then firstly A, then you're saying well, you didn't need to say such as A, B, C, and D, because after the topic sentence, you immediately explain them anyway. That's repeating. So, but if, for example, you had 6 disadvantages, 2 of them were economic, 2 physical, and 2 social, then you could say, however, smartphones also have a number of disadvantages, which are physical, economic, and social. Then firstly, and then physical 1, secondly physical 2, thirdly economic 1, etc. Do you see what I mean? So here, when you say such as, okay, here I'm here again, then such as, and then put like, let's say a category. I'm going to try and write this here. Category. Am I going to do it? Yes. Okay. Cross that T. All right. And then such as a category, because if you just such as A, B, C, and D, and then you say firstly A, secondly B, secondly C, thirdly C, thirdly D, that's such as blah, blah, blah. It's just adding extra words and making it difficult for the reader or boring for the reader, and you don't want that. Keep it, remember, to get more points, at school, you need more ideas, not more words. That would be a mistake. Okay, but let's look at this here. So I'm guessing this really is your second supporting idea, because your first one is here. That's the one I didn't understand. And then this one is your second supporting idea. People spend a lot of time on their phones interacting with different applications. Good. The notifications from various apps keep people busy and distracted all the time. Okay, good. So you started to explain that particular point. But then you said people spend a lot of time and people are busy on them, distracted all the time. It's like you're repeating all the time, busy, distracted, all the time. You see, you're repeating phrases or phrases that mean the same, and so you're not adding to it, okay? And I'm looking down here, I can see that this is your supporting idea number 3. So this means that somewhere in here you need some examples. Let's say very often on someone's telephone they have Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and blah blah blah, and so their Facebook app goes ping and they look, oh okay, I've got some likes, and they put the phone down, and then ping, oh WhatsApp, or my grandmother's messaged me, and so because there are so many of them, because we are so connected all the time and people can connect with each other all the time, and because there are different ways of connecting all the time, that makes more distractions, which wastes our time. Okay, and you could also put in there to build on your idea here that some people can't resist looking at these applications all the time. They feel a need that they have to check their Facebook, they have to check their Instagram, and you could say that maybe a solution would be for people to turn off their notifications, or just say that people don't turn off their notifications often enough. Okay, and then you would have built up your supporting statement number 2. Okay, number 3. What is more, smartphones feature many games and entertaining apps. Okay, these apps and games take up a lot of time and cause people to waste hours. So you see here, you've got in number 2, spend a lot of time, and number 3, spend a lot of time. Yes, keeping people busy and wasting hours. Those supporting statement 2 and 3 are basically the same. Okay, the only difference is one's an app, one's a game. Okay, so if you keep my suggestions for supporting statement 2, let's see what we can do with 3. Now, something with a game, people can spend hours and hours on a game without knowing that time is going by so quickly. So it's in fact, it's very different from picking up looking at your WhatsApp, putting it down, picking it up for Facebook. With games, they are on the game all the time, looking, and so, ooh, where am I? Maybe they're on a bus, and their bus stop is 5 kilometers back. Okay. Another effect of people wasting time on this, they could be spending time talking to their children. They could be doing work, being more productive, or they could be doing things like learning stuff on the internet. They could be learning with their smartphones, not just playing games, you could say, or, whatever happened to reading books. Okay, so with those supporting statements 2 and 3, as you can see, there are lots of things you could have done to develop your ideas. As I said with number 1, email me and tell me what that was all about. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so here we have what looks like another disadvantages paragraph. Well, actually, this is harmful effects, which is a kind of disadvantage, so that's fine. But you see, so you've had 3 disadvantage paragraphs. One that I couldn't understand the point. Another one that had 2 points that were very, very similar and with another topic sentence in there. Okay, and here I see another topic sentence about disadvantages. So we haven't now, of course, a harmful effect is a different kind of disadvantage, so that's okay. But so your first 2 disadvantage paragraphs, they should be all together. But let's take a look at this. Let me see what I think. So such as eyesight problems and lack of concentration. Right, yes. Okay, so these here are physical and mental effects. Okay, so if your previous paragraphs were social effects, then you could have said there are several social effects of using smartphones too much. Okay, and then I would have understood that that's how you're separating your paragraphs. It's only until now that I look at this, I think, that's how Jenk wanted to do the organization. Okay, and it's a little bit too late. Not for me, because you paid me money to look at this, but you see, for somebody else to read it, they might not have read this far. Okay, so it's very important that you show the reader how you're organizing it and have proper topic sentences and not repeating the topic sentences like you did before. Okay, now, as I said in the previous one, when you had however, you got here nevertheless, which means however, giving an opposite point. But you see, you've got disadvantage paragraph, so they should be in addition, and here another one, so not nevertheless, it should be furthermore, moreover, or something like that. Okay, because remember, nevertheless contrasts from one to the other. Okay, so using smartphones over an extended period will sever the eyes. Well, okay, I know you haven't paid for the grammar and vocabulary package, but you see, sever means to cut. So it means like cut your eyes out. Now, what you probably meant was using smartphones can damage the eyes. Okay, so it's very important that you look words up in the dictionary that you've used, okay, because sever means to cut. Now you may have thought it's like severe, S-E-V-E-R-E, which means very harmful or very, very strong. Okay. Okay. Moreover, so I'm guessing you wanted to say using smartphones over an extended period will damage the eyes. How? You need to explain here how. Give me some proof. Develop this idea. Prove to me that you're right. Don't just say, oh, it can damage the eyes, but I'm not going to explain to you how. Okay, you need to explain there where I've put the green. Moreover, the notifications from applications constantly distract people. Ooh. Okay, this here, you've repeated a sentence from before. Okay, never repeat the same idea. Okay, and then as a result, so a result of constantly being distracted, people who own smartphones will be affected negatively. Okay, no. So, first of all, then this here, because you've repeated it, that should not be there. Okay, don't repeat. Right. Then as a result, there are negative effects. It sounds to me like you tried to write a concluding sentence to the paragraph, but a concluding sentence must add some kind of meaning to the paragraph as a whole, not just repeat an idea or repeat the topic sentence, because that is just repetition. Okay, so I'd have to delete that. I'm sorry. Okay, and it's not a result. Okay, you've said here as a result and repeated your topic. Well, the topic is not a result of the topic. The topic is the topic, isn't it? Okay. Right. Moving on now. Right. Okay. Let's look at the concluding paragraph. Right. Very good. Okay. You've got in conclusion. Right. So it tells the reader this is the conclusion. Using smartphones improves our daily lives by making access to information easier. Yep, okay, good. Nice little summary of the advantages. Yet, good. Alright, so you've yet to introduce the disadvantages. Good. The use of smartphones might also bring about disadvantages. Okay, such as lack of concentration, eye problems related to... Okay. Here, though, you've just given, you've given two of the disadvantages. Why give two examples of disadvantages here and then ignore all the others? What I would suggest is that you summarize how the disadvantages are, like, now, we didn't talk about any, well, in fact, unfortunately, there aren't that many ideas in this essay, so it's hard for me to say, but let's say, for example, you had 6 disadvantages, 2 physical, 2 social, and 2 economic, for example, hackers hacking into your bank accounts, etc. Then, okay, you could have said here, yet the use of smartphones might also bring about disadvantages, such as physical disadvantages, economic, or something like that, something that's different to what you had in the introduction. Okay, so, here you could, okay, this could be a summary of the type of disadvantages rather than 2 examples of specific ones. Okay. Okay, right, so at the end there, let's choose purple. All right, this is your final thought. Therefore, smartphones should be used with caution. Okay, true, but I think you could find something a little stronger than that. For example, you could say something like, we say that smartphones are one of the greatest inventions in such a long time, but many of the dangers are hidden. Okay, and we should take time, perhaps time away from our smartphones and not be reliant on them 100% of the time. So therefore, you've developed your final thought. Okay, so all in all, Cenk, not bad, but I think that you need to, if you spend more time on your preparing, on your brainstorm, then you're going to think of more ideas to say, and when you see it on the paper before you've written out a whole essay, then you're more easily able to assess your ideas. Okay, right, I shall fill in the scorecard, and I shall look forward to any comments that you have, and hopefully your next essay. Okay, all right, goodbye now.